Hello, everyone, and a very big thank you for attending this event, for still being with us, and for engaging us fully. My name is Muigai, and I am a Senior Member Service Representative and Training Specialist at our Nairobi office as advised by my colleague Felicity. I'm here today with my colleague Donald Mwangi, who is a Member Service Supervisor also at our Nairobi office. Now, in our roles, Donald and I are in frequent contact with members all over Africa. Now, in this presentation, we will cover the top questions we typically receive from members. Isn't that right, Donald?
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Anne. Yes, indeed. And what we have done for this presentation, we have compiled the questions, frequently asked questions, into 6 topics. Those are loans, tax forms, wire transfers, ways to keep your account active, member loyalty rewards, and how to schedule appointment to meet with us. Time permitting, at the end of this presentation, we will also respond to your questions, to the questions that you submit. Please make sure to use the Q&A box on your screen to submit your questions. If we're not able to answer your questions today, be sure we will respond within the next week. Now, let us get started with loans.
Thank you, Donald. Now, loans is quite a hot topic among members at UNFCU, and completing a loan application is a huge step that members take when planning their finances. We receive a lot of questions about the loan application process. And Donald, members want to know, once they are approved for a loan, just how long does it take to get the money?
Thank you, Anne, for that question. Now, for most loans, the loan amount is generally paid out by the next business day following approval. However, the education loan is the exception since it has what we call a 3-day rescission period. What does this mean? This essentially means that once approved for this education loan, you have 3 days to reconsider your decision. If we do not hear from you, the money will be sent to the learning institution after 3 days. For you members, it's also worth noting that our unsecured home loans offer a very unique feature. Although the money is released within a day of approval, you as the member have up to 24 months to use the approved amount. You can therefore borrow the amount, the full amount, or in increments within this 24-month period. However, you will only pay interest on the amount that you borrow.
Thank you for that clarification, Donald, because indeed with the education loan, we do tend to get a lot of questions about where's the money? When will it go? What do I do now? And I also like that you emphasize that you only pay interest on the amount you borrow on the unsecured home loans. Now, what happens, Donald? What happens if a member who has a loan or a couple of loans or a credit card with UNFCU leaves the UN system? Say they get a job or a different opportunity at a different organization and they have to depart or separate from the UN system. What happens to their loans?
Thank you, Anne. As my colleague Martha indicated that once a member, always a member. It is therefore important when you leave the UN system, that you contact us as soon as possible to inform us of your future plans. At that point then, we can assess your ability to repay your loan and discuss your options with you. So for example, if your contract ends while you have an outstanding unsecured loan with us, we have the authority to recover your final entitlements. How is this? This authority is outlined in the UN Secretariat Administrative Instructions Staff Rules. We also mention this when you take out your UNFCU loan under the UNFCU loan agreement, which each borrower is required to sign. We do not require that your loan be paid in full upon your separation with the UN.
Thank you for that clarification, Donald, especially for emphasizing that we have the authority to recover from the members' final entitlements. I imagine that this is going to generate a lot of interest. Now, as we move on, can a member apply for another loan if they already have an existing loan with UNFCU?
And that's a very good question. And the answer to this is yes, as long as you do not exceed the total loan amount for which you qualify. As you know, when taking out a loan, which we're going to let you know right now, you have to qualify for the loan. So therefore, as Anne has asked, can you take out another loan? Yes, indeed, as long as you do not exceed the total loan amount for which you qualify.
This is such wonderful information, Donald. It's good to know that members can apply for multiple loans for as long as they don't exceed the total loan amount for which they qualify for. And for such information, because it's very personal, we recommend that you get in touch with a member service representative close to you. Now, on the next slide, we are going to tackle the question, how much can a member borrow? Donald, we know that this is a frequently asked question. We know this is always the first or second or third question every time we interact with a member. So let us dive right into it. Just how much can a member borrow?
Thank you, Anne. Yes, indeed. As we all know, our members would like to take out loans. And therefore, one of the first questions they ask, how can I borrow? How much can I borrow? Well, I'm here to tell you that the loan amount for which you qualify is dependent on quite a few factors. These include your length of employment, the type of employment contract you have, and your country of employment. So, the country where you work is important because it can impact the stability of your employment. We consider how likely the UN is to stay in that country. We also look at your other employment opportunities in that country should you leave the UN. Your income amount and currency are other important factors. The currency you earn is important since all UNFCU loans are in US dollars. If the currency you earn drops in value against the US dollar, you would need to use more of your income to pay off your UNFCU loan. This could therefore make it more difficult to cover your other expenses. So now let's imagine this scenario as an example. Your loan payment amount, say for example, is $1,000 at the time you receive a loan. So at the time you received the loan, you needed 10,000 units in your local currency to make the $1,000 payment. Now, the local economic conditions cause a drop in the value of your currency. Now, suddenly, you need 50,000 units to make the same $1,000 payment. How will you afford your other monthly expenses? As UNFCU and as a credit union, it is our responsibility to help you avoid financial hardships. So, to this end, we look to see if you have any other loans to repay, as well as your monthly expenses. Your loan payment history is another important factor we consider in determining your loan amount. It gives us a view into how reliable you are as a borrower. This reliability factor is considered your credit worthiness. Lastly, we look at the length of your UNFCU membership. It is worth noting that many of these factors are also used to evaluate your loan eligibility. Over the last few years, we have really expanded our loan eligibility. Almost all members in good standing are now eligible for loans. We have some restrictions in about 10 countries where there's a question about the continued presence of the UN or where the local currency has been extremely volatile. And you can learn more about this on unfcu.org.
Thank you, Donald. That is so much information, and I feel it is very, very important to clarify because we do indeed have a lot of questions that do come in where members want to borrow more, but when they come, they find those kind of restrictions. And I hope this has helped to settle the questions that we tend to receive. Now, switching topics, another hot topic, tax recertification. Now, let's answer member questions about the W-8 Ben tax form. Before we proceed, I need to emphasize, please remember, UNFCU does not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. The responses we are sharing today are purely for information purposes only. They are not intended to provide and should not be relied on for tax, legal, or accounting advice. You should ideally consult your own tax, legal, or accounting professional for guidance. Having said that, and with that in mind, one of our most frequently asked questions is, Donald, are you ready for this? Why should members complete the W-8 Ben form if they are not US citizens?
Thank you, Anne. As you may be aware, UNFCU is a US financial institution. As such, we must comply with the reporting rules of the US Internal Revenue Service, also known as the IRS. And I know maybe some of you or most of you have heard of the IRS. To report the correct information, we need to know if you are a taxpayer in the US. If you are not a US taxpayer, you should file the IRS form W-8 Ben to let us know that you're not required to pay taxes in the US. And by giving us this information, we will not withhold any amounts from your accounts for US tax purposes.
Thanks, Donald, for that clarification. Now, another question that we tend to get, I feel this form, I think last month, but one or last year. However, this form needs to be completed every 3 years. Donald, why should members complete the form every 3 years?
Thank you, Anne. Why should our members fill the form every 3 years? This is because the IRS, which I've just mentioned, needs confirmation of your tax status let me repeat that again. The IRS needs confirmation of your tax status so they ask that you complete the form every 3 years. Completing a new form lets us know that you are still a non-US taxpayer. So for example, if you completed the form W-8 Ben to certify that you are not a US taxpayer sometime during the year 2019, you will need to complete a new form by December 31st, 2022. We as UNFCU will notify you when a new form is needed. You should also complete a new form every time you have a change in circumstance. And a change in circumstance it could be a change of address or a change of your citizenship status.
Very important, because nobody wants to have that withholding tax penalized from their account. However, I need to clarify, Donald, do members get penalized if they don't complete the forms? Do they get charged? Does UNFCU go ahead and debit, little amounts from their account? What happens? Do they get penalized?
Thank you, Anne, for that question. So as a member, without your valid W-8 Ben form on file, we need to apply the annual withholding rules required for US taxpayers to your accounts. What does this mean? It means that we will withhold up to 30% of the interest you earned during the year. Secondly, the money we withhold will be sent to the IRS. So if you do not file taxes in the US, it may be difficult to reclaim your money from the IRS. In this light, we highly encourage you to complete the form every 3 years to avoid the withholdings.
Thank you, Donald. And at this point, I take the opportunity to encourage every member in this presentation. We have fully automated this process. It's now been sent to you on email. Now you know, please go ahead and complete your tax recertification. Thank you, Donald. And now we move on to our next topic. I think I saw a couple of questions on the Q&A. Wire transfers. How long does it take for an outgoing UNFCU wire transfer to be processed, Donald?
Thank you, Anne. For wire transfers, most transfers are processed on the same day that we receive your requests. However, delays may occur based on the country or the recipient bank you're sending money to. If you use digital banking for your transfer, the estimated arrival date will be stated on the payment receipt. So be on the lookout for this. If you use
excellent, Donald. Thank you. We will be on the lookout for the payment receipt, the disclosure. Thank you so much. Tell me something else, Donald, and this is also a question I get almost every day. Can members negotiate the exchange rate applied for the transfers for those who are doing foreign currency wire transfer requests?
Thank you, Anne. Now, what I would like to tell our members is that the rates which we transfer funds from the UNFCU accounts are fixed by our partners and cannot be negotiated, unfortunately. We partner with multiple service providers to offer you competitive rates. So therefore, the rates quoted at the time of the transaction are final. So be sure to review the rates before completing your transaction. For this and much more, visit unfcu.org/global transfers to watch our video on transferring money globally.
Thank you, Donald. And I believe that video was played a bit earlier. I encourage everyone, just go right into the website and let's get watching. Now, Donald, since digital banking is secure, why do members have to verify that they submitted a wire transfer?
Thank you, Anne. As highlighted by my colleague, James Iovino, we take the security of your account very, very seriously. So the request for verification of your wire transfer is an added security measure to help prevent fraudulent attempts to take money from your accounts. It is to ensure that no one except you can use digital banking to perform the transactions.
Thank you, Donald, for covering this wire transfer session. I know we didn't tackle each and every question that was posed on the Q&A, but I do know that we will be reaching out and answering every question that has been posed. I think my colleague Timothy has already mentioned this, and Felicity as well. So rest assured, you will be getting your answers. Thank you, Donald. Now let's move on to another very important point that we need to cover: keeping accounts active. Donald, when do accounts become inactive at UNFCU?
Thank you, Anne. So for you, our members, your savings and checking accounts become inactive if you do not perform any transactions for 2 years. So for example, if you do not transfer any money in or out of your checking account for 2 years, the account will become inactive. Now, after 3 years of inactivity, the account becomes dormant and is therefore in jeopardy of escheatment to the United States authorities. What does this mean? This means that if you do not reactivate your account within 3 years, we will need to close the account and give the money to the US authorities. This is required by law since UNFCU is a US-based institution. Now, once the accounts are escheated, you can retrieve the money directly from the US authority. Now, dear members, this can be a time-consuming process, especially if you are located outside of the US.
Thank you, Donald. So it is important to do a transaction within 24 months. Otherwise, risk losing the money on your UNFCU account. Point noted, and thank you so much. And what exactly happens when a dormant account is escheated and the money is sent to the US authorities, Donald?
Thank you, Anne. So the escheatment process, which I just mentioned 1 minute ago, basically means that the funds are taken to the US authorities. So now, based on US regulations, the money is securely held by the authorities until the owner of the closed account files a claim. Now, depending on the owner, the process may be as simple as completing a form and having the signature notarized. However, if the owner is deceased, or if the owner cannot complete the claim forms, court documents may need to be submitted to the authorities. If you are therefore located outside of the US, obtaining a US notarization or court documents may be difficult and time-consuming.
Yet again, you emphasize how important it is to keep an account active. At least one transaction every 24 months will keep you alive. Donald, why does UNFCU charge a fee once an account becomes inactive?
Now, dear members, you know, we do not want your accounts to become inactive, as this brings you closer to dormancy and escheatment. As I mentioned earlier, claiming your money from US authorities can be a complex process. Therefore, we allocate resources to notify you of ways you can avoid inactivity. Now, to cover the cost of these resources, we charge a $5 monthly fee for every deposit account that reaches inactivity at 2 years. The fee will continue until you either reactivate the account or the money is escheated to the US authorities. Now, for those of you who may not know, is my account closed or not, we publicize the list of members who have dormant accounts at least 60 days before the closure process. This is especially helpful if the contact information we have for the account owner is no longer valid. So for you to see the list of dormant accounts, you can visit our website, unfcu.org/dormant.
This is very helpful that UNFCU goes out of its way to make sure that any member who has a dormant account is notified. Thank you so much for emphasizing that, Donald. I totally appreciate it on behalf of the members, of course. But tell me, Donald, once I get my notification and my account is, dormant or inactive, how do I reactivate my dormant account before the closure process is initiated?
Thank you, Anne. Now, for those, as we've indicated, the best thing is to have your accounts active, not inactive, and in the worst case scenario, dormant. Now, if unfortunately your account becomes dormant and before we close the account, the easiest way to reactivate your account is 1, make a deposit or a withdrawal to or from your UNFCU accounts. So therefore, making a deposit or withdrawal from your UNFCU accounts will reactivate the account. That's step 1, or that's one of the ways you can reactivate the account. So secondly, you can complete and sign our account reactivation form. Now, this form is available in digital banking. However, you can also contact us to receive a copy of the same.
Thank you, Donald. Very important information. So if for whatever reason your account has been inactive and you don't have access to your digital banking, then you can either make a deposit or a withdrawal from your UNFCU account, or you can contact us. And we have all manner of ways that you can contact or reach a member service representative. And we'll be getting to that in just a moment. But before we do, we are going to dive right into member loyalty rewards. And I find that you're going to find this session very exciting. I hope it piques your curiosity. So let's get right into it. Donald, what are the requirements to qualify for member loyalty rewards?
Thank you, Anne. Now, with member loyalty rewards, basically, as they indicate, you can earn rewards each month. Now, how do you qualify for this? To qualify in a given month, you must, 1, be enrolled in digital banking. 2, you must have maintained an average daily balance of $2,500 in that month. Now, depending on your total balance of loans and deposits with UNFCU, you can earn either silver, gold, or platinum benefits. Now, these benefits include rebates on fees you have incurred with UNFCU, such as ATM fees and wire transfer fees. They may also include higher dividend earnings on your share certificates. Now, if you're qualified, you can view your rewards level in digital banking by simply logging on and clicking on the star icon next to your name on the top right of the page. That is, clicking on the star icon next to your name on the top right-hand side of the page. For you to know much more about our member loyalty rewards and perks, you can do so by visiting unfcu.org/MLR. That is unfcu.org/MLR. Thank you.
That is such exciting information, Donald, regarding the member loyalty rewards. And I like the screen that we are all viewing: silver, gold, and platinum. Let's get clicking, let's get reading, and let's get engaged and informed about our member loyalty rewards. Now, I mentioned a bit earlier about contacting UNFCU. A lot of the times we have people saying that I call this number and ABCD happened. So here we are, online scheduler on digital banking. To ensure the safety and well-being of everyone, our locations in Uganda and Kenya were closed for some time due to COVID-19 pandemic. At this point, I'll take a moment and appreciate everyone on the line and on the call on this webinar for hanging in there during that turbulent time. During the last few months, we have been taking steps as UNFCU to ensure a safe reopening. At this time, we are happy that our offices are open and we are eager to once again meet with you in person. If you'd like to meet in person, you are required to schedule an appointment. If you want to talk to someone on the phone, you're also required to schedule an appointment. Donald will now share the 2 ways that you can schedule an appointment. Donald, how do I schedule an appointment?
Thank you, Anne. That is a question that very many members have come across, bumped into the streets of the UN or outside the UN, have asked me. Now, for you to make an appointment, you can do so via digital banking by logging in and clicking on the calendar icon at the bottom right corner of your screen, as you can see on your screens right now. So bottom right, calendar icon on the bottom of your screen. So once the item is selected, follow the instructions on the screen. Now, there's another way if you do not have digital banking that you can schedule an appointment. This, you can do so by visiting our website, www.unfcu.org. Visit /locations, that www.unfcu.org/locations. Select the location of your choice and follow the instructions on the page to schedule your appointment. I hope you can see on your screen. Just click on unfcu.org/locations, select the location of your choice, and follow the instructions on the page to schedule your appointment.
Thank you, Donald. And we are eagerly waiting to hear from all of you. We're happy to answer all your questions. And just a quick recap, Donald, for what you walked us through. We've talked about loans, how to get started and how to get going. We've talked about tax recertification and exactly why it is important, the wire transfers, what to do and how to go ahead and do it, why it is important to keep accounts active, even if you're not actively using the account. It's just once every 24 months. And the all new and exciting member loyalty rewards. And finally, scheduling appointments. MSRs are ready, willing, and available to meet with you or talk to you at a time and a date of your convenience. I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Donald, for your time, and for everyone currently on the webinar listening in and posting your questions on the Q&A. And at this point, it is my pleasure to open the floor for any additional questions from you, the members who have been listening in and haven't had your question attended to. Any more questions, please? Let's hear them.
Thank you, Anne and Donald. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation, Anne and Donald. And we trust that you've given the best responses. Just a reminder to all our members, please keep the questions coming. If we don't have enough time to respond to all of them, we'll have our member service representative reach out to you. You can also take advantage of the Q&A or the FAQ questions on our website under the different products. These will be very helpful in helping to respond to some of your questions. Anne and Donald, Manuel Felipe is asking if they wanted to keep their account active, what kind of activity they need to do. Is logging online sufficient enough to keep the account active?
Donald, do you want to take that or do I take it?
I can take that. So thank you for your question. As I indicated when we were presenting just a moment earlier, there are two ways you can reactivate your account. That is making a deposit or withdrawal into your UNFCU account or from your UNFCU account. Or second option, you complete and sign our account reactivation form. This form is available in digital banking, or if you do not have digital banking, you can also contact us to receive a copy. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much. We had a question from Beno Smith, and they're inquiring on where to get information on investment opportunities and options for maximizing their savings.
Lennox, thank you so much for that question. It's a very good question, and I've been seeing it coming up on the Q&A section. What I would advise at this point is set a telephone, or, well, it would be a telephone appointment with a member service representative. UNFCU has various options that you would be or may be interested in, and it would be beneficial for both you and UNFCU to understand exactly what kind of investments you are looking for so that we are able to guide you correctly. I hope that answers not just you, Lennox, but anyone out there who posed a question about investments. Our MSRs are happy to walk you through that process.
Thank you so much, Anne. There's a question that has been very popular among the members attending our webinar today, and that's the question of how long it takes for an approval for a loan to come through. Is there a timeline on the credit approval process, or the decision being, the feedback being given back to the member?
Thank you, Timothy. When it comes to loan, UNFCU does a fantastic job of having as short a turnaround as possible. I have seen loans approved, literally speaking, overnight. I have seen loans that have taken 2-3 days. It's a very broad question, Timothy, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of the times when loan applications are submitted, not all documents required for review will be submitted at that point, and that is what may delay the process. But if I wanted to answer the questions, between 24 to 36 hours, you will definitely have a response from our consumer lending department.
Thank you so much, Anne. One of the other popular questions that have been coming through the Q&A is the question of credit reference reports. Are these a mandatory requirement? And one of the members asked why they have to be asked to present a credit reference report or information on their loans with other banks.
Thank you, Timothy. I think I'll take that. During my presentation, I said that there are various things that are looked at in regards to the loan application process. So there are several items we look at when we are evaluating a member's loan. So one of the things that we need to know is and prove is the member's credit worthiness. So the credit reference reports come in very handy when we are evaluating the member's credit worthiness. So that is something that has to be done in order for us to be able to evaluate the loan application and the member's credit worthiness. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Donald. And just for the interest of time, we have many questions from the members attending online. Just keep the questions coming through. We'll make ourselves available to you as member service representatives to respond to more of your questions and make contact with you after the webinar. Thank you so much. I'll hand over to Felicity.